been covered? Do you think you are making some progress?
Thank you, 𝐲𝐲, once again for having me on the show. Before I go into that question, can I first go into our topic today, which is peace battle. So I want you to give me a minute, only a minute. I want to thank you and your team for providing an invaluable platform to deliberate and discuss and explore ways to restore peace to the people who have been robbed of it for more than 2 years now. So peace has been a question for quite some time now. The amount of suffering that people have to go through every day is extreme and intense, even terrifying to the point where you listen to their stories and see their living conditions, especially if you go and visit the relief camps. So I think that it is such a shame for the government of India and the rest of the country to allow such brutality against humanity to persist for more than 2 years now. Having said that, I want to point it out very clearly that the Kuki Zo people, we are a peace-loving community. And that is why, like you have just mentioned, we have been engaging in constant talks with the government of India. We are trying to explore ways where we can deliver peace and justice to the people. So we have been doing that. And in the same manner, we have been cooperative to the government of India that anytime we're invited, there's no other time that we're saying, no, we will not come to your talks, your dialogue, we don't want that. There's nothing that we're saying. So we want peace, and that is why we are cooperating with the government of India. And having said that, I want to make it very clear, something equally important, which means peace requires understanding the dynamics of the ethnic crisis that we are having now, that is prevailing now in Manipur. So what is the root of the conflict? Who perpetrated it? And how can we right these wrongs that we have made, we have committed? These are questions because undeniable, because we cannot come to a practical conclusion if the perpetrators do not own up to their brutality.
Okay, let me ask the same question to Mr. 𝐲𝐲, leader of the Kuki Inpi Information and Publicity Secretary. Mr. 𝐲𝐲, you have heard Mr. Khuraiza Mathoba when he's saying that they are asking for free movement. They have no problem if the Kuki Zo community come to Imphal or any other place in the Imphal Valley for any purpose, whether it is to go somewhere through the airport or for medical purposes, for education. Now, what is the situation on your side? Are you willing to have free movement? Because the Kuki Zo communities, or some groups at least, were opposing this free movement. Has your position changed? What would you like to say?
Of course, we have allowed for a free movement of goods and essential commodities, even at the conditions of prevailing conditions of war that is prevailing in Manipur now. But for now, regarding IDPs returning home, the fundamental questions lies where do they return to? What do they eat? How do they even survive when all their homes have been destroyed or their systems of livelihood have been all taken away from them? So where do they return to? That should be a question that we should be asking as of now. So we are looking out to where returning or resettling displaced people. But where do they go to when their homes have already taken away from them? And now, as for Mr. Mathoba speaking of welcoming the Kukis to Imphal for treatment or other purposes, I think it's quite ironic, because it feels like the Kukis can be killed at any time or can be taken welcome at any time. But that is not acceptable to our people, because let us be clear, Mr. 𝐲𝐲.
We have been of our homes. Can we speak on point of view tonight on this show tonight, Mr. 𝐲𝐲? We are trying to bring across different points of view. That is why my show is named Points of View. Everybody is entitled to their own points of view. That is what we feel in Northeast Live. But my question is very simple. You have said that you will allow free movement of goods and commodities. But what about free movement of people? Because the leader of the Kokomi has said that there is no problem, that any Kuki Zo community member can come to the Imphal Valley. Do you think the situation is still not congenial? Are you saying that?
Sorry, you're not quite audible to me. I don't know what's the problem.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah. Mr. Kureiza Athoba has said that the people have no problem in the Imphal Valley if any 𝐾𝐿 people come there for any reason, and they are welcome. What is your stand? Why are you saying that only goods and essential commodities? You are not talking about people. Do you think people from the Imphal Valley, do you think they still cannot or will not be welcomed in the hills? Are you saying that?
Let us get back to the point where I was talking about being chased out, forced out of our homes. And now look at the situation that is prevailing. And it is, Imphal is now for the Kukis, a place where we have been chased out, forced out of our homes. It is always easy for the perpetrator to talk about peace. But for us, it is for the perpetrator when they talk about peace, if they stop the violence, it is not there. It is fine. But look at the victims. We are always concerned about the safety and security, right? So if that is not there, if the state could have protected us, how could on May 3 itself, a lot of our people have died, a lot of our people have been stripped naked, a lot of our people raped. So I think words doesn't mean all the things.
Okay, I have not got a clear answer from Mr. 𝐲𝐻𝐿𝐿 Let me go to, Mr. Athoba is saying that this is a failed president's rule. Now, what is the Kuki perception? What is the 𝐾𝐿𝐴 perception? Do you think, why did you issue the diktat? Why have you prevented your elected MLAs? After all, they are MLAs. They have not resigned from their MLA-ship. They still continue to enjoy the benefits, the state parks and salaries and all by being MLAs. How can you prevent them from taking part in a popular government? They may not take part on their own. That's a different matter. But here, the Kuki Inpi is issuing a direction to them not to take part in any effort to form a popular government. How do you explain this?
A popular government is a democratic principle, and it is very much essential and necessary for a democratic country like ours. But if you look at the beginning of the violence and how it has continued for so long now, of course we want a government, but we want a government that will not oppress or target us. We want a government of our own. And that is why we have issued the so-called diktat for our 𝐾𝐿𝐴 MLS not to participate in the formation of a popular government. Otherwise, why would we support the restoration of a system that has systematically marginalized and targeted us?
No, that's true. But Mr. 𝐻𝐿𝐴, you talk about democracy, and again you issue a diktat. Don't you think that your diktat itself is undemocratic? Why don't you allow the 10 elected representatives to exercise their own discretion and decide for themselves? Because they are the people's representatives. They are elected, whereas you are not elected by the people.
I think you have a misunderstanding of the way our organization works. Of course, very much Kuki Inpi is a traditional government of the Kuki people. It is very much elected by the people. From top to bottom down, it is elected by the people. And the government, on the other hand, representative, are elected by the people. So the civil society organizations have every right and legitimacy to issue such diktat on the interest of the people that we represent, because we represent the same kind of people. So we are in constant touch with the people, and we are only saying what the people wants. So we will not participate in a government or in a system that has systematically targeted us, marginalized us, or oppressed us, because we know that the state is complicit in the ongoing ethnic crisis against our people.
Okay.
Otherwise, how would it be possible for the Armed Rectangle and all other organizations on May 3 itself? You know what is happening there. Right. It was a manhunt, a literal manhunt happening in Imphal on May 3 2023. So how would that happen without the complicity of the state government?
Right.
And that is why we are refusing to take part in the restoration of a government that has oppressed us, that has marginalized us.
Okay, Mr. Hawkip, I correct myself. I take your point on the Kuki Inpi also being elected. Now my question is, Kuki Inpi, you don't sit in the Legislative Assembly. It is the 10 elected MLAs who sit in the Legislative Assembly. Now in the last 2 years, can you say frankly whether the Hill people have, don't you think the Hill people have been, disadvantaged because their voices have not been raised in the Manipur Legislative Assembly for more than 2 years now?
Am I still audible?
Yes. Yes.
All right. We have taken that step to express our dissent against the Manipur state government. It is fine as long as it is a government of our own people that is set up by our own people. But if there is a government where we don't have any voice, where we don't have any say in that, we don't need to participate in that kind of government. And that is why we have issued that information and that request or intimation to Kuki MLS not to participate in the popular government of any sort.
Right. Puyam Rakesh, I will go to Mr. Naulak also and Dhiren Sadokpam as well. Mr. Puyoba, Mr. Janghaolun Hawkip, now are you positive at the end of the day or not? Are you prepared to separate your political demand from the immediate necessities of the ordinary people?
I think the solution to our political demand is an immediate necessity. Because even though we're talking about peace or whatever it is, unfortunately, even as we are being asked to compromise and move on, there has been no acknowledgement of the violence committed against our people. No accountability. For example, it was Kokomi who openly declared war against our people. And since now we all want peace, why don't they take responsibility of the hundreds of people who have been killed, of our women stripped naked, tortured, raped and murdered? I mean, someone has to take responsibility there. Someone has to take accountability. Otherwise, every proposed policy for the restoration of normalcy would only mean vanity. On the contrary, I would like to state this fact that the Kuki and Inpi and visions where all communities can coexist with dignity and equality. That fact, I want you to keep it. Not just you and all the viewers to keep it.
Okay. And finally,
just one more thing. We will only sit together with the Métis. We will only sit together with the Métis to sign an accord of total separation of the Valley and the Kuki Hills, because we want a kind of peace where all communities can live without fear. We want a separate administration to administer ourselves, whose problems, needs and wants are best known to us. We are not asking to administer over the Métis. We are asking only the right to administer our own selves, because we know our problem best. That doesn't create any kind of fear for the Métis.
Mr. Hawkip, now the whole thing, what you have just said, that means you said that this round of talks which is going on between the MHA and the civil society groups, you are not going to sit together with any of the Métis civil society groups during these round of talks.
We will not be sitting together with anyone, because they are the one who have perpetrated the violence against us.
I will take a comment. Right. Mr. Hawkip has been very clear. This is the breaking story. I will take a comment from Mr. Athoba and Mr. Puyam Rakesh. Now, the big breaking story is that the Kuki Inpi, the apex tribal body of the Kukis, have categorically told on my show Point of View tonight, that is the 8th of July, that they will not sit with the Métis civil society groups during these rounds of talks between the MHA and so on. They will only sit with the Métis groups when they have to sign an accord to achieve their political demand of a separate administration. That is the clear-cut statement and that is the biggest story in so much clear terms. Now I will take comments, and before I